The Voice 17104.com. Not a Winkfield, and you're listening to The Voice 17104.com. The Voice 17104.com.
Wow. Like that.
That's good. That's good.
Like that.
It's something.
Got a brand new iPad for Christmas. Now I need a new laptop. This thing is so grainy, man. It drives me crazy. I had to break down and spend a couple of extra pennies. It's something a little more technologically advanced.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is so good to see you, though, man.
It's awesome to see you, Uncle Sandy.
You look great. You do. So you in your dorm room?
Yep, just in the nice little dorm.
Back at school. Okay, great.
Go right ahead, Saf. We're on live, bro.
All right, awesome. Oh man, I was trying to get my microphone, but there was something in my shoe, so I just grabbed the slide instead. Also, I think that this is insane. This is insane. Just the size difference alone, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's rather large.
Just just how much?
Yeah. But you got to have the one that fits your foot, though.
That's true, and it does fit. It is a comfortable slide, but welcome everybody and Uncle Sandy to Let's Talk About It. Welcome. Let me see. 1 second. Gotta get on so I can see everybody. Say hello and say hello to everybody.
Okay. All right.
So how are you doing, Uncle Sandy?
I am doing amazing. As I was telling Minister Chris, it was a full day today. Got a lot done. Your Aunt Yolanda was on program. She had to speak at the Harnett County NAACP annual prayer breakfast.
Oh, wow.
That was at 8:00 in Dunn, North Carolina. And we went there and did that. She did a great job as per usual. She's an amazing lady. And after that, there was in Rayford, North Carolina, which is George Floyd's birthplace. That's where the first funeral of the 3 funerals that he had was held here in North Carolina in Hope County. We had to go there for the annual MLK March. We actually marched about a half mile, I want to say, down through the center of downtown Rayford, North Carolina. It's not a big place, but a most apropos and fitting salute to the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So we've had a really, really full day today, and I was telling them I was most happy about the fact that there were so many children and young people there for the march and the prayer breakfast as well this morning. It was good to see, so because there's a lot of people, suffice it to say, there's a lot of people your age that don't even know who Martin Luther King Jr. is. Yeah. They know that there's an MLK Boulevard or Drive or Avenue in every city in the United States. Usually running through the hood.
Behind.
But they don't know, and even if they know the name, they don't know what he stood for. The sacrifices that he made in his life and that his family made by not having him here. Incidentally, today would be his 94th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And under normal circumstances, it's very possible that he could still be here had he not been assassinated. My father's oldest sister is 95 years old.
Wow.
She lives in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Amazing woman. Mine is still as clear as a bell. Love her to death. My auntie is she's the matriarch of the McCullough family, and we just love her to death. But yeah, I mean, he could have still been here, had he not befallen such a tragic and untimely death. You know. Mm. So it's good for me. It's very encouraging for me to know that we're passing the torch to at least some young people that know and that care, like yourself. You know,
Yeah,
just trying to add to society, be productive and contributing members, so to speak. So yeah, I'm great. My day has been great, and it's just good to see you again. Thank you so much for having me on with you, Tab.
anytime.
Yeah, cool.
Let's see. I? Oh, okay. So I'm just getting back. Well, not just getting back. I think it's been about a week since I've been back from winter break. So just getting back, settled in the dorms. Back into the habit and the swing of I guess school.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely different going home, eating everything in the refrigerator just as soon as it's put in there, taking extra toilet paper and just putting it in my pockets because you never know. But yeah, it's definitely different. It's definitely different, but it wasn't bad. I guess the readjustment. We went Miniature Chris. It's the last two pictures I believe I sent you. We went to the farm show a little bit before my train was supposed to go. And we didn't get a chance to see. I think normally they show the cows giving birth.
Hmm.
We didn't get a chance to see that. So we saw the cows. We saw the babies.
Hmm.
I think we saw Paca, Alamia. Those were the babies that had just been born that day. Um,
Wow.
all kinds of animals, all kinds of um, booths and things like that. That's Mama.
I know that beautiful woman.
I do too. I'm
Yes.
very familiar with the word. I'm very familiar. She couldn't be here now, but she found a way. She found a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we did that before I came back in. It's just been yeah, just been a nice little week of getting back into the swing of things.
Mhm.
Um, Mondays aren't normally too busy, just preparing for the show and everything. And yeah, so that's been my week. I'm seeing. Oh, I'd like to go ahead and start say hi to. I don't really know if I should say the whole name, but I'm just gonna go with Mom to play it safe. I'd like to say hi to Mom, who is in the comments. She said, "Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day to you as well." I'd also like to say hi to Omni Washington from Harrisburg. Hello there. Hello. All right. So before we get into the nitty gritty of today, I don't have a culture tag, but I do have a riddle. I
Okay.
love this. So, and everyone watching, please feel free. I'll repeat it maybe once or twice throughout the show. But just feel free if you get it, toss in the comments. If not, just hold on to it. The question is, okay, let's see. The more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I?
The more you take, the more you wish you had.
You leave behind.
The more you leave behind.
What am I?
Yeah, I've always been horrible at riddles, so I'm gonna leave that to someone else to bail me out. I
Okay.
certainly don't want to even try to mess with that.
Okay. Well, for everybody else that's listening, the question once again is: the more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I? I'd also like to say hi to Graham, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Hi, Graham. Thank you for always coming on and watching and supporting.
Hello, Aunt Randy. How are you?
So, I think, and I'm not sure, but I think this is either our first or second show into the new year. Uh,
Hmm.
as I don't really think I have to explain. Everybody knows that it's now 2023. Um, we're moving on up. We are moving on up. So how was your new year?
My New Year was amazing. It was. I brought the New Year in prayer,
Amen.
as I've tried to do for at least the last 20 or 25 years. Um, and they say that whatever the old people said that whatever you're doing when the clock strikes 12, that's what you're going to be doing all year long. So I try to first of all be in a safe place, and in some way be connected to God. Um, I think that I accomplish that on a daily basis because I stay in prayer. I have to. Um, as a preacher of his word and a keeper of the faith, those are requirements, for my daily walk. But the new year has been great. Your aunt and I have we haven't started traveling yet this year, thank God. Thank God. But
Amen.
I mean, there's been some we've attended a few parties, and as we brought the new year in around the Christmas time. I'm the chief financial officer for the Greater Assembly of Independent Churches. It's headquartered here in North Carolina. Um, I take care of their books for them, so to speak, and as a member of the general board and one of the officers and ministers of that fellowship. We started the Christmas holiday off with a midwinter summit that was held in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, under the direction of Bishop Quantas T. White. And I think ever since that weekend, the 16th, 17th, and 18th, on into the actual Christmas weekend and New Year's, it's just been I've been grateful. It's been a blessed time for me. God is doing some new things in my life and in my family's life. My parents are still healthy and still here, so I thank God for that. And I had an opportunity to spend the 26th day of December with uh, two of my favorite people in the world, my Aunt Randy Massey, your grandmother, and Aunt Curly Roseberry, and my mom. And it's just been a joyous. It was a joyous holiday season, and the new year has been pretty much the same. It's been really good, man. It's just been really, really good for me. How about yourself, Mr. College Man? I
Oh,
love your transition. You know what you're doing with yourself and the man that you're becoming. I love this.
thank you.
Yeah.
For me, my New Year's was good. I went to a Dave and Buster's with a friend of mine.
Hmm.
Um, we we just played games. Mom tells me this all the time, and she's never wrong. But any sort of attraction that welcomes competition and prize incentives has me in a chokehold. So I stayed until I could afford a pair of these. From the gift shop. I stayed and I played and I played and I played.
Hmm.
Um, and then I went home, spent some time with mom. The ball had already dropped, but we were watching the West Coast and the New Orleans um, as their um, clock struck, I guess 12.
Hmm.
And so we spent that night together, and that was pretty much it. We both we did some resolutions, so there's some things that we're both working on. I think one of the things that she's always prioritized is living a happy and healthy lifestyle. So I
Hmm.
think we're doing that again,
Okay.
um, which is always great. So yeah, just spend some time with friends, got to spend some time with family, um, and yeah, that's my new year. I think that's how I'd like to spend the rest of this year, just close to the people I love the most.
Cool. That's good. And that's it's funny that you mentioned healthy lifestyle. And for me, I have adopted some changes. I finally stopped fighting and lying to my wife and my doctor, individually and collectively. And I'm eating a lot better, and I'm eating less and drinking more water. And I love the changes that are occurring, even in someone my age, which is pretty close to a millennium. I'm almost 1,000 years old, but I love the changes that are occurring in my body physically. More energy, just feel better all day long, every day. Eating a lot more of that green stuff, and not nearly as much meat. And I mean, I probably cut my meat consumption by 60, 70%. Drinking about 3 times as much water as I was drinking before. But I feel so much better because I'm learning, as Bishop White and I were talking earlier before we logged on, I was speaking with him, and he said, "So how you doing with your lifestyle change?" I said, "Well, I'm down 6.5 pounds. I know that's not a lot, but if I just keep going the way that I'm going, I'll drop the 20 pounds that I was trying to get rid of. I don't like being pregnant. I'm trying to get rid of my baby. This little thing around my midsection here, it's like a baby. I'm like, nah, I can't do that. I look like I'm about 4.5, 5 months pregnant. I'm like, nah, I want to be done with this." And healthy living, I am eating to live, not living to eat. And that can be very difficult, with a man like myself that's married to a beautiful woman that's an amazing cook. And to be around somebody like that, you love eating the way I do, yeah, it can be a task. However, I'm hanging in there. I'm 6.5 pounds down, and I'm going to see this last 13 pounds. I all I did was just eat differently. I chose to eat different things, put different things in my mouth. Because at my age, most of the people that have what they associate these diseases to, middle age and senior citizenry, are directly related to what we put in our mouth. Some of it is genetic, but most of it is directly related to what we put in our mouth. And there's no rule that says I have to double my high school body weight or anything like that, by the age of 50. No, there's no ironclad scientific proof that that's supposed to happen. So what I have to do is just be smart about what I put in my mouth. I'm trying to do that. I am.
That's good. I want to take a quick moment to say hello to Mr. Daryl Moore. Hello, hello. And Graham gave us I think that was an answer to the riddle. She said trouble. Graham, that is not the answer. I'm so sorry. That's not the right one.
The more I take, the more I leave behind.
Yes. The more you take of me, the more you leave behind. What am I?
Well, it's certainly not time.
No.
Yeah. I got nothing. I got buckets.
Okay. Yeah. We'll meditate on it. We'll let it marinate for a while. But speaking of time, I wanted to go back a little bit before we talk about Martin Luther King and his birthday. So 10 days ago, we passed, I guess, I don't know if we call it the anniversary. I think that's too sweet of a term for it. For January 6th, the incident.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are a couple of people, well, not a couple people, it's the government is still looking into that. I was wondering if you'd heard or you'd read up on or listened to anything pertaining to that.
I'm glad you asked, young man. Yes, I keep up with that because I think that was probably the most egregious federal crime that I've ever witnessed. And it was televised. 500 people have been charged. 300 and almost 400 have been convicted. And they're still looking for another 700 people. The Oath Keepers, who were the paramilitary organization that worked very closely with the former president for the events of that day, and they planned everything out. They were found guilty of conspiracy to commit sedition or treason, if you will, to overthrow the government. And the ringleader, so to speak, or the head of the organization, hasn't been sentenced yet, and I'm watching very carefully and closely to see what they're going to do with him. But he could be sentenced to as much as 60 years of incarceration. The other two were found guilty of 5 of the 9 charges, and they're looking at least 25 years behind bars. Kudos to Merrick Garland, the Attorney General. He is doing his job, so to speak. And the Proud Boys are now on trial. They moved from the Oath Keepers to the Proud Boys. Remember, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. Yeah. These people led an insurrection or an attempted insurrection that caused the death of one law enforcement officer and the traumatic and long-term injury of several other law enforcement officers. I think this is, and I'll continue to contend with the fact that it was on their part, it was deeply rooted in racism, which is a sickness that has pervaded this country for well over 400 years, and we have to get rid of it. It's the fear of the browning of America. And those people, the ringleaders, are going to be punished. I would certainly like to see the former president, he's already facing charges. I'd like to see him convicted as well, because he was the ringleader. He enjoyed being in power so much that he stoked up a bunch of people and got them hyped up, on racism and all this other stuff. They're going to take your country from you, and had them literally go down and kick the windows and doors out of the national capitol. We can't have this. The country's so polarized now with racial bias and hatred. And he was a catalyst for all of this. During his campaign to become president and his 4 years as president of the United States, it was a horrible campaign of racism, and division. And we have to get back to something that looks like a functioning democracy and a peaceful place to live. Because right now, that's not what we have. People like Buffalo, for instance, your home. A young man was convinced by several hate groups that he was a member of to drive 2 hours, drive over 2 hours to Buffalo and go into a predominantly Black section of town and open fire at a supermarket, killing young people, old people, community leaders, elected officials. It was horrible. It was horrible, and we have to do something. But as far as, I hope I answered your question about the proceedings of January 6th and what's going on. They are going to continue to prosecute and try the people. And there's a few elected officials. Don't be surprised if you see a couple of elected officials go down in a blaze of glory as well, because they all participated. And they have to be punished. Because if they look like me and you, there would be no trial, because they would no longer be with us.
I pray, in all the proceedings and the votes and all of that, that justice is truly served. I think that for, even just in the pledge, you know what I mean? It talks about liberty and justice for all. I think that it would be one of the biggest mockeries of something that's already so feeble to let something like this just to turn a blind eye to. I know sometimes people say, oh, well, you can only do but so much, but I think that in situations like this, we we can get this done, we can get this resolved, because there's been a lot of permanent resolutions for much less, for things of much less. I mean, I think it would really, truly, and honestly be a shame if justice wasn't properly served on this. And I would like to see the people definitely do something if it's not. I think that at some point, and I said, I think when we first started the show, very first started the show, we were talking. It was in the height of the murder of George Floyd and all these, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, everyone, and I remember I was saying, well, you want to hope that they'll do right. You want to say that they'll get it. They'll nip it on the bud this time, but at the same time, you just know that they may not. And I think that people should prepare themselves for the may not. And I think that we should do whatever we can and work however hard we need to keep these people accountable. Even once justice is served, I believe that people should still work towards keeping government accountable. That they shouldn't be, holier than thou, because at the end of the day, we're all just people. We're all just people. You're a representative of the people. So, I think that one thing that we should definitely get out of this, regardless of how the turnout goes, regardless of who votes what votes on who, that just to keep checks and balances. Let's keep the people accountable. Let's keep ourselves. Let's keep the people who are controlling, our day-to-day lives accountable for their actions. But yeah, that's my little January 6th soapbox. I'll step off.
Well, I just thank God that something is being done.
Yes.
And it may not be as much as we would like to see done, but there has to be a start. And yeah, justice has to be served. I think that America for so long has had a problem prosecuting people. The powers that be have had a problem prosecuting people that look like them, and have so easily been able to prosecute people that look like you and I for far, far less, as it goes in the lines of crime. But our democracy is at risk right now. It is sorely at risk, and our leaders have to do something to discourage this type of wayward lawlessness and reckless behavior, because it is eventual that one day white people will not be the majority in this country. I would be willing to wager in as short a time as 10 to 12 years, they will no longer be the majority in this country if that numerical equation has already occurred. They do so many things to manipulate the numbers. The U.S. Census now says that if your mother is white, you are white, no matter how blue your father is.
Wow.
Yeah, so for 350 years, if you had 1/64 black blood, you were considered black. Now, all of a sudden, you can be 50% black and be considered white if you have a white mother. That's to manipulate the numbers to make it look like we're only 15% of the population. We're certainly closer to 25, I would say. And Hispanic brothers and sisters, their numbers are just as great as ours. So it not to mention, the Asian population. I would even be willing to wager at this point that non-white people outnumber white people in America. You know, with the manipulation of 30 to 40 million people because their mother happens to be white. Yeah, that part. Then yeah, you can say this, but it ain't about what you want it to be. It's about what it actually is. You know, and one thing that's never lied and has always been constant in the universe is numbers, math.
That's true.
Numbers. Numbers don't lie.
But they don't. But they don't.
Numbers do not lie. No, they don't. So, we'll see. We will.
Yeah.
We will see. How was school for you? I'm back in school. How was it for you?
It's nice. It's a lot of freedom. And I think that one thing that at least I definitely see in some people here is, you get that grab of freedom and you just take it and you run. Oh, you take it and you run. But I think a lot of other students here will see college as just an access to that freedom, but not
Mhm.
necessarily now you have access to a higher education, which is the reason that you came here to start with. So for me, college it's been a really big balancing act. On one hand, yeah, I can stay up however late I want, but you got to make it to class at 6 in the morning. You have to, and you can't just be there. You have to be there. You
Mhm.
have to be attentive. You have to make sure you're on top of things. And especially in a hands-on environment like this. Like tomorrow morning, I'm in the kitchen from 7:30 to 3
Mhm.
in the kitchen. If and the students here run the restaurant as well. So, if you decide that I don't know, if you just decide that you kind of don't want to have that drive, you don't want to keep pushing. It's not just yourself that you're affecting. It's not the money that you're wasting. It's not just the fact that you're downplaying yourself. It's now this is affecting other people because if I'm not putting my all into something, someone else is gonna send that back, and it's gonna come right on me. So
Mhm.
it's a balancing act. It's teaching me a lot, how to be responsible for myself. I I really I enjoy. I'm sorry, my phone. It's going. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I thought that it would be like super intense and I'd be ripping and running. But I feel like once you get it, once you and I'm not saying I fully got it because I'm sure there are about a billion other things that are just waiting around the corner for me. But I guess the way I'm going now, the direction that I think that I'm headed, I think it's going pretty good. It's going pretty good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm glad about that. I really am. Um, it's it's a lot of fun. You are rapidly approaching adulthood. Um, there's also a lot of responsibility. Yeah, and I like the fact that you're balancing it. That's good. Please understand. Please understand why you're there. You already said it. You have access to a higher education that can change your life and allow you to do some of the things that you want to do with yourself for the rest of your life. But it starts right here. You know, it's not about these 4 years. It's about the 44 years after the 4. You know, where you are actively engaged in supporting yourself, building a career, and leaving a legacy. Because see, what a lot of people your age don't realize is that overnight you're going to be my age. Yeah, it's going to happen. Um, your hair won't be as thick nor as long. I promise you. Yeah. Um, and your energy will lessen or de-intensify, if you will. So while you're young and you have the energy, pour as much of it into becoming who you are to be or who you want to be as you possibly can. And you won't go wrong. You won't. nothing that is worth having or accomplishing comes easy, you know. But you're well on the road, and I just think that you have an amazingly bright future, and I'm so happy for you. Uh, like me and your Uncle Bill, we talked, we did the show together, three of us, one day, and we just tried to pour into you, you know, those things that we thought that may benefit you along your walk. Um, you're one of our family's best chances at success, like the next generation. You know, please don't waste what we gave you. You know, to whom much is given, much is also required. So, yeah, we want a return on our investment. And the way you give us a return on our investment, the way we see a profit is to see that you and some of your cousins are productive, contributing members of this society, that you're self-sustaining, you know, and that you bring pride to the clan, you know, and I'm excited about the fact that you've already started on that. So yeah, just keep going in the manner in which you are. And I digress. I do. I know I'm your biggest fan, or one of them. Because see, in my eyes, Taft can do no wrong, you know. And me and your mother argue about that sometimes. Because when she's ready to get you for real, you know, I'm like, nah, he didn't do that. Yes, she did. I'm like, nah. I'm kind of gonna hang in there with you, you know. I'm one of your biggest cheerleaders. So keep up the good work, man. God bless you.
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't think that I could even try to say that this is just, oh yeah, I've always been so. No, I think that this is, it's, and I feel it. I feel it, and when I sit down, I'm like, okay, I got to get this done. You know, the determination. I feel it. I think I know that it's no way I could have gotten to this point. And I know I'm not even at my highest yet, but gotten to this point if it hadn't have been, you know, for you and your family just constantly pouring in. And I'm always so thankful for that. And, you know, that's the other thing about college, I'll say, is it's you get to see so many different stories come together. You know, you get to see different experiences, different walks, different paths. And I think when I hear these things, I see these things, I recognize, I'm like, wow, I'm so blessed to have had the family that, like, to have the family that I have. You know, that's encouraging, that's supportive of what it is that I do, that, you know, is just always there for me to reach out to, and I would never take that for granted. I don't think I could possibly take that for granted. So my investment will be paid off in full and with some extra interest on it.
Thank you for taking it seriously. It is so very, very important. It really is. We need you. We do. We need you and every other family member in your generation to do something. You don't have to play a professional sport. You don't have to be an international financier, but we want you to do something to make yourself proud. You know, we love you just because you're you know, but we also want you to find your place in the world and be able to do something meaningful. Seriously, that's what our prayer is for you and all of your cousins, you know, and your age. We want you guys to find your place in the world. You know, I'd like to talk about something for just a second that's been gnawing at my craw.
Let's talk about it.
The price of eggs, bro.
Uncle Sandy, I just bought some.
This ain't funny, and I know they're talking about this bird flu thing that's killed, you know, some of the, you know, a lot of chickens, you know, and all that. Okay, that's all well and good, but come on, give us a break. Really, $7.50 for a dozen eggs?
$7.69.
This is unreal. I have this breakfast sandwich that Yolanda makes for me every morning with one fried egg, not scrambled, um, a slice of turkey sausage, the little patty, and on a whole grain English muffin with some cheese. I love it. Oh man, that's my little thing every morning. Can't wait to get to the office so I can tear it open, and stick it in the microwave, do my thing. But I don't even know how long I'm gonna be able to enjoy that because eggs.
I don't know. I went and got some from we have a really rundown supermarket that nobody wants to go to. So if you want to go get your groceries, you put your hood on, you make sure you get everything from the school. You put a mask on, you keep your head down, and you just grab it, put it in the cart, and go. And I went and I stopped and I was like, well, I need eggs. I was doing grocery shopping. It's $7.69, not for extra large.
Right.
Large. Just regular.
Just regular eggs.
And butter, the butter's worse. The little 4 sticks of unsalted. I don't think I'm asking for much.
Right. That part.
Why?
I think some of this has a little bit to do with corporate America. They're going to always seize the opportunity of big business, shall I say. Going to always seize the opportunity to price gouge, to make a few extra tens of millions of dollars a day, whenever the opportunity presents itself. But it's a horrible thing. Jeff, this thing is really bothering me in ways you can't imagine. Like, for real? It's an egg. It's the
An egg.
yeah, $25 for the large thing, the 2.5 dozen or 5 dozen, whatever. Like, well, no, it's 2.5 dozen. It's like $17 and some change. Oh no.
No.
I just
Go ahead.
We are headed toward a recession. I think Jeff Bezos, CEO or chairman of the board with Amazon, the owner of Amazon, he said it very clearly and plain about 4 months ago. He said, look, if you don't have to have it, like in the lines of a new vehicle or a bigger house, maybe you might not want to make these purchases right now. Because the people at the top, the 1%, they can obviously see it a long time before, we can, us as working class Americans. But we're headed toward a recession. I don't think there's absolutely anything that can be done to avert it. They've raised the interest rate, try to play around with it and lessen the sting of inflation, but we are headed toward a recession. And that's not always a bad thing. But what it does is it teaches people how to live in a more fiscally responsible manner. Stop burning money like it's paper, because money is a tool. And we have to use it constructively. If we don't, we'll pay for it in the long run. A fool and his money soon part. And that adage was true 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, and it's still true today. If you do not manage your funds, you will lose them. There's no two ways about it. So inflations and periods of inflation and recessions are not always a bad thing. It teaches us how to manage what we have.
I agree. I agree. No, I do think the only one thing I think that I would have to disagree is that nothing can be done about it. I think these top 1%. I feel like, the Elon Musk, the Jeffrey Bezos, the Mark Zuckerberg, people just sitting on billions and billions of dollars. I say it, and in my head, I know it sounds perfect plan, but I just know it will never happen. I think that realistically, to hoard billions of dollars at a time for yourself, I don't I mean, I feel like there's no moral high ground that you can even start to take to defend them. I think when we see, the homeless population or unhoused, I should say, sorry, the unhoused population rising at incredible rates, you know, global warming, it was still kind of hot in November, so clearly there are things that might be unprecedented, but it's not
Mhm.
as if we can't invest, or it's not as if we don't have people who could help in getting the resources that we would need to, maybe curb some of this, or to take the eggs from 769, maybe just to 725. I
There was a poet, a well-known poet. I know people called him a rapper, but I always viewed him as a poet. Tupac Shakur.
mm,
He said a lot of stuff, but the thing that I hold on to and that I remember most about the young man before his untimely assassination was the fact that it bothered him almost to the point of insanity. The fact that there were people living in homes, a husband and wife that had 25 bedrooms in one house under one roof, just two people. And we had all these homeless people out here, that there were apartment buildings that were 40 and 50 stories high that were empty. And then we had homeless people. It always wrecked his nervous system to the point of no return, because it didn't make sense for us to, it didn't make sense for us to be the richest country in the world and have any homeless people or any hungry people for that matter. We throw away tens of millions of pounds of food a day, throw it in the garbage, and we have hungry people walking the streets. So, from my perspective, as as a preacher of the gospel, as a man of God, as one of his servants, someone that is very involved in trying to improve the condition of my neighbors, of my fellow men and women, it bothers me also. So, like Tupac, how could we be the richest country in the world and have little kids go to bed hungry? That's almost inconceivable, but it happens. And unfortunately, in my lifetime, I don't think that we'll see um, this problem solved, because as long as the people that have it all, you have the top 1% of America has 75% of the money and resources and material wealth in this country. That's insane. It is. I think that if the leaders would stop taking payoff, our elected officials would stop taking payoff from the richest 1% of the country, that we could solve a lot of our social ills um, simply by taxing those people that have all of that money and distributing it to those people that are in dire straits. We can do better. We can. It's my prayer. I'm a little bit pessimistic like yourself. I certainly don't see it happening in my lifetime. But I would like to think that by the time you're my age, that some of this will be solved. That's what I would like to see. I really would. Um, God bless America. God bless America.
Oh, okay. Well, on a slighter, a slightly lighter note, Damar Hamlin,
Oh yeah.
he's back. I think they said that what happened on the field that we saw was him going to cardiac arrest. but he's home with his family. I think I watched a video earlier that said he reunited with his teammates on Saturday. So yeah, he's that's a nice little
Yes,
update.
yes.
Toss.
Your cousin, Marcus Jr. knows him
Oh,
rather well. You know, he's from Pittsburgh. So, shameless plug for the Steelers. Go Steelers! We'll be back. We'll be back next year.
Mr. Prince, if we can just have that clip removed.
Yeah. He's from Pittsburgh though, and being one of my little homies, I'm so happy for him and his family, that God wasn't ready for him yet, and that was nothing short of divine intervention. That was grace. Okay. Everybody is crediting the first responders, the team of medical experts, that revived him while he was laying lifeless on the field. But me being me, I know that God had his hand all over the young man, and he just wasn't ready for him yet, and that's why Damar Hamlin is still with us, and I'm so thankful, that God didn't take him. And decided to leave him with us a little longer. Now, what Damar has to do is not take this blessing for granted. I don't care if he ever plays football again. I really don't. He's already winning at the game of life, like that doctor told him when he said who won the game. He's winning at the game of life right now. God bless him, and do something with your life. Leave a legacy. Now that all this attention has been focused on you and your GoFundMe has gone over $9 million in contribution from people all over the United States and abroad, do something to change somebody else's life. God didn't save you so you could throw it away and act a monkey like a lot of these little brothers do. When they get that guap, we want him to we want to do something to help somebody else, change somebody else's life. I think the thing about the toys for the kids is beautiful, but you take it a step further. Now that you have this spotlight, you must use this spotlight to improve the condition of the people. Yeah, and that is my prayer, that he is aware of the tremendous blessing God has given him, a second chance. To do a better job. And if he never plays football again, he has enough visibility at this point to do something to dramatically change someone's life. He does. And I sincerely hope that he uses his newfound stardom to do so. Toys are cool, but them same babies need something to eat. They need some warm coats in the wintertime and some boots. They do, and some of them need some tutoring, to help them. The pandemic was very unkind to kids that were just starting out in school and having to learn virtually and not had the attention of a teacher face to face. So there's a whole lot of things that can be fixed, just right there in Buffalo, with that kind of money. I'm sure they were hoping they get $1 million, to buy some toys, or a couple $100,000 to buy some toys. And they ain't know it was going to be $9 million. You don't have to take that whole $9 million spending on toys for those kids. Give them something that's going to last. Anything that you put into a man's mind, he gets to keep forever. Yeah. So help them in some other ways other than toys, because most kids tear up toys like you did. A week after Christmas, they was broke. Hey, me and Uncle Harry, we did the same thing, man. And I know Uncle Bill tore up all his toys the first week. That first week after Christmas, they was tore up, and your mother too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, your Auntie Tina, Aunt Jackie, yeah. We tore our toys up. We did. And we were not unlike other children. So yeah, toys only last for a hot minute. It's nice to have, but at this point, uh, you know, he has the power to do some other things that'll have a more lasting effect on their lives. Yeah, he does.
And I pray that he does that, but I also pray that the people, who might not just be blessed to have 9 million sitting, just in their pockets, that you would do what you could, you know what I mean, as well. So, just to be kind to your neighbor, you know what I mean? I feel like there's so many people just out here. There are families that are out here, there are individuals. There are, split up families, and I would pray that through his outreach and through whatever he decides to do to help these people and these children, that someone else would be inspired. And like I said, you don't have to have the fame, the fortune, the riches, all that. I just hope that someone would see it, or the right group of people would see it, or the right group of people would keep talking about it, and it would reach to someone else, and we would all kind of sort of and not to be our brother's keepers, but at least watch out for them. You know what I mean?
There's a couple of working homeless families out there that could seriously be blessed with a home. Like I said, that's a lot of money, and you don't have to spend it all on toys. There's a lot of good that can come from that kind of money, especially right there in Buffalo, where need is so great. There's a lot of need there, and his foundation could seriously do a lot of good works with that kind of funding. That's a serious endowment. It really is. You gonna tell us, man, what this riddle is? I hate to change the subject. I mean, it's been driving me crazy for the last 58 minutes.
So, the more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I? Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. Footsteps.
Wow. The more you take, the more you leave behind.
Footsteps.
That was a good one.
Thank you. Can't take full credit, but I'll take what I can. I'll take what I can.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, we are closing out. Really quick. I know it's super late, but I'd just like to say hi to Miss Harriet Wilson, Greenville, South Carolina. Hi there, Miss Harriet.
Hello, Sister Wilson.
But that looks like it is just about our time. Uncle Sandy, I would like to just thank you. Put some more thank yous in a box, and I'll just send them your way. And maybe with an extra carton of eggs. I'd just like to really thank you for coming on and spending this time with me and just talking and having a conversation and pouring into me as you always do.
Hey, you know what? It was more fun for me than it was for you. I'm glad that you had a few moments to spend with the old guy. Really. And I'm glad that Congress saw fit to make Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a national holiday, which means I didn't have to go into the office. And I've been missing a good bit of the shows. But I plan to change that. I have me one of those things now that I can mount on the dash and put the phone in it. So on my rather lengthy commute home from work, I can actually catch you guys. So I'm excited about it. Next Monday, I'll be able to catch the show, which is really cool. Yeah. And I look forward to you and your mother being back in the saddle again, and bringing not only reminiscing, and in the very human way that you all have with broadcasting, but also bringing those. You don't realize how many people don't know what's going on in the United States, and you guys bring up a lot of topics that people aren't aware of, and that they need to know about, so they can chime in or just benefit from it. And a lot of times when they hear you guys do it, they right from your show, they go right over to the TV and turn on CNN, see or go on the internet and see if they can find some more detailed information than what an hour will afford you to share with them. So yeah, just please keep doing what you're doing. Lead with love. Believe in the Almighty and the power of prayer, and try to do something to help somebody along their way, because until you've helped someone else, you haven't made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, God bless you.
Someone else, you haven't made it. Work it. I like it. Yeah. I'd also like to give a very, very, very big thank you to the man who could make it happen himself, Minister Chris, the radio student, the best one, the engineer extraordinaire.
Yes, he is.
Always
He is
fly.
that guy.
Always fly.
Brother, did you see how he was dressed the other day? He had on the black and white. I saw it on Facebook. I had to give him his props, man. Yo, the brother he was clean.
We're learning
You hear
from
me?
Learning from. I appreciated this conversation tonight, especially the comment about the football player. I never heard that perspective, but it's a very much needed perspective. So thank you, Uncle Sandy, and thank you, Tab, for you guys coming together. A great conversation today. We need a lot more of it in the days and weeks and months to come.
To God be the glory, Minister Chris. To God be the glory. Man, y'all be blessed and take care. Tab, I love you.
I love you.
You know my phone number. If you need something, call me.
I got you.
All right. I love you, man.
I love you too, Uncle Sandy.
All right. Bye-bye.
New microphone. Let's see. Really quick, really quick, and I know it's a little bit late. Just like to end the episode completely on really quick Martin Luther King quote. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. There we go. Oh, yep, The Voice TV. The Voice TV Entertainment.